Hello, I'm an Arakan survivor in my late 50s. This channel depicts the daily life of a man around 60 years old, surviving the harsh realities of old age. On this channel, I mainly talk about the reality of caregiving that I am facing. The caregiving issue that no one can avoid. This time, I will talk about the moment of the beginning in our home. Once, my parents were each enjoying a peaceful old age. My father, as always, sips a little alcohol while watching the TV in the living room, and when he gets bored with that, he lies down in bed to watch his favorite war movie DVDs. It was a life of sleeping and waking like that. On the other hand, my mother worked as a public servant, and the retirement bonus she earned was about 30 million yen. She used it for home renovations and my hobby of golf, enjoying my retirement life. My mother was caring and was also entrusted with being the organizer of the golf group. She would come to me with drafts for team formations and event plans, asking, "Can you make this look nice on the computer?" which was our usual heartwarming exchange. My home is about a 5-minute walk from my parents' house. However, at that time, I was busy with work and couldn't visit often. My mother, being considerate of me, made a suggestion. "I'll prepare a feast every Friday, so come eat." I decided to gratefully accept this offer, and in return, I would give her 10,000 yen a month. Friday of the weekend. Carrying the stress of work, I stopped by my parents' house, venting to my mother while enjoying a meal served to me. That was my healing time. Despite my feelings of guilt and remorse, my mother happily said, "We're having summon today," as she busily moved back and forth between the kitchen and the living room. Those happy days continued for several years. On one hand, I truly feel grateful, but on the other hand, there was a vague sense of anxiety in my heart, wondering how long this peaceful time would last. And then on a Friday of a certain week, that premonition comes true in the worst possible way. As usual, I had dinner at my parents' house and reached for the chopsticks on the arranged plates. However, the squid sashimi looked strangely gooey compared to usual. I had a slight bad feeling, but the moment I drank tea to cleanse my palate, I couldn't help but violently spit it out. Blear! What spread in my mouth was a texture, like an unknown jellyfish. A slimy and unpleasant object. What on earth happened? That's when a heated argument with my mother began. Feeling suspicious, I rummaged through the trash can and the refrigerator to check the expiration dates, and the squid had expired 4 days ago. As for the tea, the expiration date was an astonishing 1 year ago. The contents had rotted and solidified into a gooey mass. Of course, my proud and stubborn mother would never admit that. It's the store's responsibility, and "You're making too much fuss." She just kept making excuses and getting more and more agitated. As expected, the next day I was struck by severe abdominal pain and managed to get through work while enduring diarrhea. I feel bad for my mother, but from that day on, I could no longer trust the meals at my family home. Since then, I have secretly checked the expiration dates of what was served, sniffed the food, and sometimes deliberately left some uneaten. After a while having a meal at my parents' house again, I noticed an unusual number of fruit flies buzzing around the room. When I asked my mother, she replied, "Oh, really? It's a problem." But she seemed somewhat detached and not very concerned about it. Since there is food in front of me, I can't spray insecticide. While swatting away the fruit flies with my hand, I forced myself to continue eating. I couldn't help but be concerned, so I walked toward the direction where the fruit flies were swarming. The moment I opened the door to the changing room, I was at a loss for words. There, my father's long underwear was unnaturally discarded, swarmed by countless fruit flies. When I pressed for an explanation, my mother said, almost spitting it out, it seems that my father had soiled himself and discarded them. My mother, who was upset about it, is said to have left it as it is for harassment. In that moment, a terrifying thought crossed my mind. Does that mean the flies that were swarming around my father's waist are now also gathering on the meal I'm eating? Bleep! A wave of intense nausea and anger surged through me, and I hurled fierce words at my mother. My mother desperately tried to explain herself, and soon the conversation shifted to filled with hateful remarks about my father. Overwhelmed by anger and nausea, I left my family home early that day. Even after returning home, the discomfort in my mouth never went away. At that time, I could only think, this is dirty and my mother has changed, feeling angry. However, looking back now, it seems that Alzheimer's-type dementia had already begun at that time. It doesn't come suddenly one day. From the enjoyable daily life, from a casual moment, it gradually and surely starts to go awry like a gradient. That was the beginning of the reality we had to face, an inescapable truth. Thank you for watching.